Welcome back, guys, to another episode of Microsoft Flight Simulator versus Train Sim World. So, in my previous episode, we arrived at San Bernardino with our crude oil delivery, and I figured, hey, since we're already down here, I had my plane, I paid for my plane to be moved, which another pilot basically gets in my plane and he flies it to the airport that I want him to take my plane to. So, I had my plane flown down to San Bernardino, and that's what we got out here. What, y'all thought that was my plane? No, no, we ain't even got that far in career mode. And that was the other thing. We gotta get this plane ready to fly, so I gotta pull some stuff off of it. But that was another thing that I was thinking of. I may do another series just only on Microsoft Flight Simulator instead of, hauling freight to somewhere and then taking a plane and flying it over. I just wanted to combine both the games, but I may do this one individually and show you, how I've make money in my career mode in order to buy planes like this and have other planes in the future and the jobs that you can do using planes. It's just like a train, except for you're in the air. You can haul cargo, you can do a lot of stuff with planes. I wanted to get a private charter service where I flew people to where they needed to be. But turn on our landing, turn that on. We don't need our backup battery. We're going to charge our magnetos. We got to give it a few seconds to charge up, and then we're going to go for both, and should fire up. Alright, so in our flight plan, you can see that, hold on, let me get my cursor mode on here. You can see where we're at. We're right here at the airfield. In fact, whenever we pull out of here, we're going to come out, go this way, and hopefully be able to take off. I don't know, it just depends on what air traffic control does, but I'm going to make my own way today. But anyways, let's zoom out of here, because where we're going is right here, and this is the San Bernardino rail yard that is in Train Sim World 5, which is also where we delivered our load to earlier today. So anyways, I was going to show y'all that, but we're going to go ahead and try to get out of here without making air traffic control too mad this morning. But I didn't really set up like taxiing and all that other stuff, so we're gonna try to get out of here in the quickest way possible. I don't think there's no other planes taking off or anything like that right now. Co-pilot.
Ground, Alpha Sierra X-Ray Golf Sierra, ready to taxi. Departure to the east with Golf.
Alpha Sierra X-Ray Golf.
Alright, let's see where they try to tell us to go.
6 via taxiway Alpha. Contact tower on 119.45 when ready.
Taxi to and hold short runway 6 via taxiway Alpha, X-Ray Golf Sierra.
Okay, so it's telling us to taxi somewhere, but we clearly do not have any instructions pointing that out. Oh, there it is. Ah, I must have accidentally turned it off. But anyways, this is the way that air traffic control would want you to leave this, leave this hangar area, where there's some more smaller planes over there. Ooh, boy, the wind is rough. It is pushing me hard in another direction. Alright, so it's going to have us to take off in that direction. You'd have to do like this in real life. Now they're probably going to hit me for taxi speeding here soon, because I am kind of getting it right now. But once we get up in the air, we'll get our flap set where we can cruise at a good speed and fly over the places. I'll probably throw like 10% flaps in, because they'll slow down our airspeed, and we can kind of take a look at some stuff.
X-Ray Golf Sierra, you are not cleared to take off.
I'm not taking off. I'm following your path. Right here is where it ends. Okay. Oh, it probably wants me to pull up just a little bit. Unless you are stopped in the exact area that they want you to be. Right here. This is where it's at. Alright. We're not getting a taxi to take off. See, this is where it starts getting on my nerves at. I don't need the electronic flight plan. I need this. Yeah, I got you. Alright, you know what? We're just gonna take off to the right because I'm tired of this thing acting up. Actually, we got more runway to the left. We'll go this way. Well, you never did, you know, do your job. I'll pull it up where you told me to. If you're not gonna work right, I'm gonna do my own thing. Ain't like nobody else is taking off anyways. Alright, so anyways, we're taking off from the San Bernardino airfield, and we are fixing to take a flight. Right back there, about 3 miles away, is where the San Bernardino yard is. I can tell right now. Yeah, let me go ahead and throw my flower, at least my trim into here. That way it'll keep climbing. We'll do like 6, maybe 5.
SoCal approach. Alpha Sierra X-Ray Golf Sierra is tight.
That is climbing like crazy right now.
1600. Request flight following.
I don't want to get up too high.
Squawk Tree 026. X-Ray Golf Sierra.
Yeah, dude, it's just constant. Just air traffic control. You never hear the end of this.
Roger. X-Ray Golf Sierra.
Alright, so now that we got turned around, that's the airfield we just took off at. So, and this is exactly what it looks like in real life. These are done with Google Map imaging, and then they, I guess, 3D model houses from what they see on Google Maps. But it looks so realistic. I actually flew over my real town that I live in just to see, you know, like, you know, you wouldn't be able to recognize it from the air. No, I could tell that it was exactly my town. But anyways, we're going to kind of go a little bit to the right as we get over here, and you'll see the track as we go in. And I'll use the front of my plane as kind of like a pointer, or, you know, a visual angle to look at. But you can already see the track coming down from the mountain. Like if I'm using the front of my plane to point, that's it that comes along this path right to there. Just always look at the front nose of my plane, or the propeller, and that's what I'm using to point with. But right there is that first little bridge that you go up underneath as you're coming in the San Bernardino yard. It's the north side of the yard where you're running ascended to the highway, and it basically runs right through here, and then right down there is the yard. We ain't quite got to it yet, but we're gonna actually drop down a little bit. And we're going way too fast, and we're also too high into the air. So go ahead and throw the first flaps in. Bump the throttle down. Down. I got it pulling my nose up a little bit because I didn't want it to try to stall out or crash. But this is how I do my sightseer missions for people that I take contract work from. You know, whenever I'm not driving trains, I'm flying planes on the weekend, baby. And I'm going to try to make some videos for y'all on that. But anyways, and whenever I do those videos on Microsoft Flight Simulator, I will do them in different areas. That way it's not the same thing, you know, flying around the same city. But anyways, this is the beginning part of the San Bernardino yard. This is right down there is where the tracks run along the highway that go into the north part of the yard. And I know from a lot of you probably already recognize this just by looking at the way that the tracks are arranged. I'm gonna get down about 2,000 feet up above it and we'll go from there. Yeah, right here is a pretty good spot. But anyways, yep, this is the north side of the yard. This is where we will be picking up 2 engines right down there at that building where I'm using my nose to point with. Will actually come in from the parking lot right there, and we should have a locomotive waiting. This is basically your receiving end. This is where you pick up loads. They're kind of broke down a little bit. There's a bunch of stuff that goes on in rail yards, so you never know what's staying, what's going. But most of the assembled lines are going to be here if they're going, that are coming in. Now, if you want to see what's going northbound, that's going to be out over here. But down here is where they store the power for the yard, the locomotives. We will be picking up some Union Pacific SD40s and some Dash 9s that are going to be going back up to the Barstow yard and continue their path north through the United States. And over here is where we will be assembling our train. This is the, I guess if you were looking at the map, it would be the east side of the yard is right here. But we're going to go ahead and turn around. We're going to hit the southern side of the yard. See this plane, I can lean it over really far. I just got to make sure I don't stall. But anyways, yeah, right down here is where we're going to be assembling our load tomorrow morning. We're going to be hauling back some empty car haulers. So anyways, you would come around here. There'd be this little area where you cross over the road at, and there's some engines right there now. Burlington North Santa Fe out the Yahoos down there. But this is the south end of the yard. This is where a lot of freight is assembled that is going to be headed north or south, depending on, you know, where they're being delivering to. But I only run, and I found out I was pronouncing that wrong. It's called the Cahoon Pass, not Cajun Pass, but Cahoon Pass. You know, this is the south end of the yard, and pretty much once we get down here to the end, there'll be some other tracks over here to the left-hand side, but it pretty much ends down here for us on Train Sim World 5, because none of these train tracks are all interconnected like they really are in real life. You're just flying a certain route. So that kind of keeps you particular in one area, but guess what? We can fly to other areas and go work for them. But this is the south end of the yard, and this is basically where it ends, is right down there where that tree line is. But we'll make one more swoop over it and then we'll go back for the land. But yeah, this is all the surrounding neighborhoods, the stuff that's around the rail yard. Looks like a little racetrack there, or a park or something. But there's also a ton of commercial buildings over here. Looks like where they deal with freight, maybe unload freight. There's a lot of stuff around it. But down here, where all these cars are parked and where this bridge is, this is all part of the San Bernardino Railway Yard. This is the south entrance where you would park at. They got a lot of parking down there, and they got their own little personal road that goes in between here and the north side of the yard. Sometimes we do come in down here if they got us an engine to pick up. We will, you know, we'll come down here, but we're going to be all over this yard tomorrow because part of the empties are going to be out here on this line. Some of them are going to be over there to the left. Engines we're going to need to pick up is going to be out here in the center, so we're losing a lot of altitude. I'm going to have to get it back up in the air. But yeah, this is our north area parking yard right down here. I got a lot of parking, but I normally try to grab one up here if I am in my personal vehicle, I would park up here. This is the kind of like where the train station is if you're going to be carrying what I always call it is the people trains, but they're, you know, if you're traveling by train somewhere, passenger train, this is where you would park at, is right down here. And I normally try to squeeze in over here if I'm, you know, hauling in between here and Barstow. But yeah, I wanted to show y'all that. I thought it was pretty cool to be able to see this thing in real life, you know, if you really flew over it. There's the yard where it goes up to Cahoon Pass, which is that big mountain out there. That's what you're having to get over. But we're gonna go ahead and get over here and prepare for a landing. We gotta get aligned with the runway. Hey, look, there's a ball field, San Bernardino ball field. I forgot exactly what they call this, but a lot of cool things around here I didn't even know that was there. Almost aligned for our runway. We gotta make a left up here once we get far enough out. And it's probably gonna say I didn't have permission to land here. I didn't really, you know, put all my departure points and all that other stuff before I started this, so it's probably going to act weird a little bit. Go ahead and pull some of this throttle back. Kick in our secondary flaps, which is going to really slow us down, but it'll lift us up in the air too. Back up to 13 on our throttle. Now it should start asking me if I want to land, because I'm pretty much lined up with the transmitter that should be detecting my plane at this airfield, because I never left their airspace. I didn't fly far enough away to leave their airspace, so let's see if it gives me the command whenever I fly through this little area. Nope. It ain't doing it, so that means I'm fixing to land this thing on my own. Go ahead and start losing altitude now. Just don't want to come down too fast. Yeah, this is a pretty long runway, so we can come in really, really smooth and slow. As long as we don't drop below 30 knots, we won't stall out. So go ahead and pull some more throttle out, because in between our trim and our
Tower,
flaps.
Alpha Sierra X-Ray Golf Sierra is 2 miles west, 1500 with Golf to land. Alpha Sierra X-Ray Golf Sierra Tower. Altimeter 29902. Make left traffic runway 6. Enter left traffic runway 6, X-Ray Golf Sierra.
Come down as easily as possible, as it will tear your landing gear up. It will destroy your plane in the game if you don't cut the throttle right as you start hovering, and it'll come down real easy. Now that wasn't exactly easy like I was trying to get it to be.
You were not cleared to land. Clear the runway.
You just sit there and told me I was, so it wanted us to go this way, so that's the way that we're going to go. I don't know what it's doing right now.
Golf Sierra. Going to 121.8, X-Ray Golf Sierra.
And we are not fixing to drive all the way on the other side of the airfield to park, because I need to get fuel for the plane anyway, so I'm going to pull it up over here. And we'll get out and see how bad I tore up the landing gear. I'm still working on my landings. I ain't no pro flyer by any means at all, so just putting that out there. But I'm still learning the ropes on there. I'm way better at driving trains than I am planes, but either way. And right there, that's good. Hit the e-brake. Go ahead and kill our avionics. We're here. Oh, fuel pump was already off, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna kill our, there should be a way I can cut my fuel. That's the choke. But we'll just kill it by the switch then. And there we go, guys. We're back down, and we didn't come down in a blaze of glory in a bad way. So, go ahead and climb out of here. Alright, so, anyways, we done touched down. We're back at the San Bernardino International Airport, and we just flew over the San Bernardino rail yard for the Cahoon Pass for Train Sim World 5. So, I've been wanting to show y'all that. I was gonna try to fly the whole entire route, but I figured, you know what? As we deliver to places, then we'll take the plane out and go fly to them, because doing the whole Cahoon Pass and following the railway would be over slow enough where we can actually see what's going on. It would be over a 2-hour flight. It would be 2 episodes. So I'm not, I ain't gonna try to put that much into it unless I'm doing something on Microsoft Flight Simulator. Then we may do that. But anyways, guys, I hope y'all enjoyed. That was our flight over the San Bernardino yard, and we'll catch y'all tomorrow morning at the same yard, getting ready for our Union Pacific load. They'll be going back to Barstow. I'll talk to y'all later, guys.